like this, don't come in a box score. Keenan with the Kel, just give me the rock more. Weather off the glass, nothing but the net. I'ma get you set, pick and roll, we can go with the whole four. Dick Vitale, look a diaper dandy. NCAA with the great handy.
All right, welcome to another episode of Courtside Conference Podcast. As usual, I'm your host, Sam Scott. Right with me today, got the boss man, Derek. What's good, D?
What's good, bro? How you doing?
I'm straight. And got a special guest, my guy Noah from the TL.
Yeah. What's up, guys?
How you doing,
What's good, bro?
Yeah.
No, where you from, bro?
Well, that's a long story, but so I was born in Cambodia, and then I was adopted at 7 months old. I moved to Nantucket. I was adopted. My parents at the time were living at Nantucket. I lived on Nantucket till I was 4, and I've been living in Plymouth, Massachusetts ever since.
Oh, okay, true. So you at Mass?
Yeah.
Oh, okay, so that explains how you a C's fan, though.
Yeah. Somewhat.
Oh, okay, so what year did you become a fan of hoops in general?
It's hard I don't remember the year exactly, but for me, I think I remember it being around the year probably 2007, around the time Kevin Durant entered the league, because that's the one I kind of cited as like one of the reasons I really started to love basketball. So between him and then obviously I think the Celtics won a title around that time as well. So like just being a kid that I grew up watching sports in general, you hear about these things. Like I watched them all, like Red Sox, you watch the Celtics, like at the time the Patriots, but things like that.
We're how old are you now? Like 19, 20?
I'm 19. I'm turning 20
19.
in a few months.
Oh, for sure. You start off young. So you in a sports city pretty much.
Yeah.
All right, lucky you.
Title Town.
Title Town, ain't it?
Oh man.
So how old were you when you got to Plymouth?
I was 4 when we moved to Plymouth. Yeah.
Oh, true. So what was that like? Just growing up around sports pretty much?
Yeah, pretty much. I grew up watching sports, playing sports, things like that.
Are you a hooper?
No, I played like rec leagues and stuff, but like I was baseball, I was soccer growing up, middle school, in high school, at least the beginning of high school, it was like track and field, cross country. I quit like really playing sports after my freshman year in the study. Like any like athletic activity was just for fun after that, like pickup games, running to stay in shape, things like that.
Alright, for sure. Ain't nothing wrong with that.
Yeah.
So you enjoy covering like the NBA, or you enjoy covering? You cover high school and college and stuff. So which one is your like? Which one do you like enjoy more?
I think out of all of them, I enjoy covering the draft the most, the NBA draft the most, just because of how unpredictable it is, and knowing that no matter how much like you put into it, something can happen. Like when I was like, you can watch somebody and then like think, okay, there's limitations here and there, and then he won't be something that you thought he would be. But then he'll get to the league and then he'll disprove a bunch of those things like wrong. Like even if you see a bunch of things on tape, you know, anything could happen. Like I always talk about, like, listen, nobody thought like Steph Curry would be the player he became, or Westbrook would be the player he became. Harden even, like nobody. I don't think people saw anything close to what Harden's become. So, that's what makes it so fun is, the idea that it's a I wouldn't call it a job necessarily, but it's definitely something that you can do where you don't have to be afraid of being wrong, as long as you put in the work.
Yeah. So, but you do got the guys who just hate being wrong for some strange reason.
Yeah, those are the worst. And then they'll make up excuses for it too, which is even worse. I'm like,
Nick Wright.
Listen, you're gonna be wrong. You're gonna
exactly.
Oh, he's the.
There's no real signs, but it's a crapshoot for like the most part.
And there's no. Yeah, and I like being right, but I like being right about like someone being good. Like I hate being right about being wrong, about someone like not reaching the things I thought they could. Like, I think James Wiseman's the perfect example of it this year. He was somebody I watched a lot of from his high school to those 3 games in college, EYBL. And personally, I just didn't see it with him. He was not someone I was super high on. But the thing is, like, I don't want to be right about being like not high on him. I want to be wrong so I can and want him to prove me wrong because like I just want to see these guys succeed. Like at the end of the day, like these are what like 18, 19-year-old kids that are just trying to make their dreams come true and reach the heights that they feel they want to. And I want to see that happen. I don't want to see anyone fail. And that's what's sad when you do see those guys fail because you know that
Yeah,
like that was their dream.
definitely. I
Yeah.
feel were you high on PP coming to the
No,
draft, or did you like him at all?
I was that draft was something that I don't get mad at a lot of things. Like that draft made me mad because the moment he drafted, I found out they were going to draft Naismith. I'm like, oh, he's not playing a lot early on. Like he's just not. He's not going to play, even if he should. But like, I just thought that like they just drafted players. I guess Peyton Pritchard is somebody that has proved me wrong completely about like
Yeah,
what he could be, and he's contributed right away. But other than that, like Naismith, it's been in spurts, but like the guys who drafted after him that have contributed right away, and
Hmm.
that's kind of frustrating. I'm hoping for the best for him, obviously, but it's just tough. It is.
that happens.
Yeah.
You see him getting traded or staying?
I don't know what you would trade him for because I don't know what teams would value him at.
No,
Like
no, I'm not
Yeah,
not just like individually, but of course like a package.
in a package, I think if you getting like a borderline all star, not like an all
Mm,
star like established, more like a borderline guy, like
yeah.
a slight step below what like Drew Holiday is or Mike Conley is, like guys like that. That's the kind of player I believe you get moved for. If you're doing him with like Grant and Romeo, like you're not gonna get as much as I think some people Celtics fans believe.
yeah.
Um, like I saw someone throw like a deal. It was like not, unless it was stud, which was I don't know what he's talking about. What he's talking about, but like if it wasn't like I just think that like Grant Grant Williams, Robert Williams, um, I think they threw in Romeo and uh Aaron Naismith in that deal. I'm like, that's not gonna get you as much as you guys think. Like that's gonna
It
get
does.
you like maybe Gordon Hayward, and that might be a stretch because like that's not gonna it's not gonna get you Bradley Beal. Like
Yeah,
it's like the James Harden thing. I'm like, listen, I was pretty like neutral on that. Like if we traded for him, we traded for him. If we didn't, we didn't. But like there's no way you're not gonna give up Harden. You're not gonna not give up not Harden, Jalen or
yeah,
Marcus to get him. Like there's no way like one of those two, if not both of them, had to go in that deal because no one
Mhm.
they weren't gonna take anyone else.
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah. No, I want to see the trade player exception for John
Oh yeah,
Collins.
that should be interesting.
That's what I want to see
That's
happen.
possible.
It,
He's
it
I
needs
think
to
he might be out tonight or
happen.
the game time decision tonight.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he has concussion, I think.
Yeah, yeah, that's right. Yeah, he did
Yeah,
get. Oh, okay.
yeah. Which is
I'm
good
ready
for us, but
enough.
we're still gonna lose.
Yeah. Yeah.
I
There's,
Get
mean,
to that.
I,
yeah.
Oh man.
brace for it already, man.
Right. But before we get into the bad news, let's talk about something good though. Let's get into these. We got some get into the All Stars. We got
Yeah.
just a minute ago. Booker got named as AD replacement.
Right. We all saw that one coming.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We all saw
Yeah.
Should
Good for
Booker have
him.
got in over CP or no?
if anyone he should have gotten in over, it probably would have been Zion just because of the Pelicans team record. But I thought Zion was more than deserving. He's been insane this
Yeah,
year.
Zion
So
was crazy.
yeah.
He had a big game. I thought Tristan Thompson had like strapped out to the second half of that
Yeah.
game on Sunday.
Oh,
That's another man had almost like 30 points out the blue. Oh
yeah,
man,
I
but
couldn't even
we got
watch the game.
we got some first time guys. I said Jalen, Zach Levine, Julius Randle, and like I said, Zion.
hmm
So which
Crazy
one?
year.
Crazy, yeah.
Yeah.
They all deserved it.
Mhm.
Y'all think anybody got snubbed?
No. Definitely not from the East.
Mm-mm.
I think the only one was probably Booker
Yeah.
Yeah.
in the West.
Yeah.
But even then, it's like there was no one I thought that didn't deserve it on either team. I think that's fine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because like in that saw people starting to argue like Malcolm Brogdon. I'm like, man, get the fuck out of here with that. Get the fuck.
Malcolm Brogdon and Chris Middleton.
I was about to say Chris Middleton was one I heard too.
Thank God, I was
Yeah.
happy too.
Yeah.
I celebrated. That both of out of here.
I always
Oh,
tweet.
man.
I tweet something about like where's your life come to if you're standing Malcolm Brogdon and Chris Middleton? Like you think about like what's the point of like just yelling about these stats just for no one to care? Like no one
Right.
cares about
Right.
them. Like even no matter how good they are. I'm like, and then they get mad about it. I'm like, they play in like Milwaukee and like Indiana. Like no one's really cared about anyone from Indiana since Paul George left. If we're being honest with
Pretty much.
ourselves.
And when that year Victor Oladipo was one in my most improved.
Like other
Yeah.
than that,
Yeah.
and then like unless your name's Giannis, you're not gonna get a lot of
Yeah.
recognition in Milwaukee.
Definitely. So how we feel about these four first timers?
I think they all deserved it.
Yeah.
I think that specifically with Levine and Vandal, it was like I don't think people saw it coming necessarily.
Yeah.
Because I think people thought Zach Levine was just going to put up the 25 he usually does, and then like it would just be like most years where the Bulls aren't good, and he's just going to be someone who's an empty stats guy. But his efficiency's been insane this year.
That kid's
He's putting,
crazy.
and he's averaging like almost 29. He's on pace if he keeps this up to probably potentially get to like 30 at some point.
Yeah.
And you know they're like what the eighth seed right now because there's so many bad teams in the East right now that have bad records that teams that usually would be like 10, 11 seeds are now potentially like anywhere between 6 and 8 in the West, in the East. So
this thing is so weird this year.
It is.
It's so
But
weird.
I didn't think Zach was actually that good of a scorer. I thought he was just like the high volume guy who got his points. He used to take like 1,000 shots a night. He's actually like hyper efficient. That man was having like over 45, 46% from the field.
Yeah.
And close to 40% from three at this point.
Yeah.
He got the
He's
whole
so good.
package, score from every level on the floor.
Yeah, they I kind of want to see him out of Chicago now just because like I have no idea what they're doing. So
and it's disappointing because they have like good players at that.
They do.
Yeah. Him, Kobe,
don't talk about
Wendell.
Kobe, somebody that do you see those like you ever see those charts with like it's like the box like the offensive contributions and like the defensive ones and it's like that graph and they Kobe's like in the bottom left of that.
He's so hit or miss sometimes. Like some nights he'll have like a 30 piece right along with that. Then next night he'll have like 11 points or something.
But it's funny because like I know a lot of Bulls fans. Like half of them think Kobe's like the future point guard, and half of them just want him gone.
I see that.
It's like it's. I don't know what I feel about him. Like it's weird because like I think he's gonna be solid, but like I don't know if I take him over guys like Darius Garland or guys like Colin Sexton or guys like that. Like I wouldn't put him in that upper echelon of young guards necessarily, like some people would.
He's a solid player. He'll be if nothing else, he'll be like a really good sixth man for a while.
I think that's what realistically he'll be. Like Like I definitely think like if the Bulls are in position to get a point guard next year, they should probably do it. Like there's like if one of those guys are available, like a true point guard, because like they kind of need that next to Zach.
Yeah, and then move Kobe to the bench or throw him in the package or anything if the players get enough.
Yeah.
Then let's see, Julius Randle. I didn't think he gets selected over Bam or Sabonis. I'm glad he did though.
He did. Yeah, he's been really good.
That's been great. My guy since UK is the only reason he's the reason I became a fan actually.
he was something.
So I ain't never watched the team till I think his freshman season, well, his only season now. I seen him like manhandling like three guys his first game ever. But I don't watch. It's like what 18 years old.
Yeah, it was funny because like if you watch his like high school mixtape, he looks like a less athletic Zion Williamson.
Yeah, and he has like such like small arms for his size too.
I know.
But he's like a wrecking ball though, and he's
Yeah.
trying like added some polish to his game and to slow it down. And
It's funny because I think last season was like the only like year where I kind of looked at him like, okay, I can't. He's horrible because like he was just like I had no idea. Like he put up the numbers obviously, but like
Mhm.
he wasn't that efficient for like a power forward. He was just kind of there, and it was just he was putting up numbers because no one else around him was good. And he was kind of really the only thing he was doing was hurting OJ Bird's development at that point.
Yeah. Did you
yeah,
think that? Did you see this coming for him in New York?
No, I thought because they drafted Obi Toppin, I thought like, oh, they're gonna move on from Vandal and they're gonna
Yeah.
move with Obi.
Yeah.
Now now that Vandal's playing so well, like I don't know what you do with Obi Toppin. It's like
yeah,
I don't think Obi Toppin's gonna be close to like this. I think he can be solid, but like he's not gonna be what Vandal is now.
hmm
Right.
Like
Right.
I don't think he has that.
I have a friend who's a Knicks fan who hit me up like some weeks ago. It was like, "What do you do with Randall since you have Obi?" And I was like, "What you mean?" He was like, "Well, since Randall, he's like Randall is playing so well and Obi's not really getting the minutes." I was like, I was like, "Yeah, but what do you do? Like trade the guy because he's playing too well?" I was like, "If Obi's not good enough
I
to
mean,
like
it's New
get on
York,
the
though.
floor, like what are you gonna do?" That doesn't make sense.
It's the Knicks, though. You know,
It's
like
funny. I wasn't too high on Obi either. He was somebody that like I always thought solid player, but like I thought his ceiling was like not exactly like a Marcus Moore's like style player, but kind of like that role where it's like
yeah,
13 points off the bench. Like that's kind of the
right.
player I kind of envisioned him as. Like I never understood why you'd even consider him like top 10. Like, I thought it was like 11 to 15 range probably for him.
hmm
Mm.
I still think he's gonna be fine. I just think that because of the injury and like the weird start to the season, it's just tough. And like it's hard to give him minutes when Vandal's playing as well as he is.
Exactly.
Mhm.
So,
Especially if
but
he's not really earning the
yeah,
minutes or justifying getting the minutes. You can't
like,
just
mhm,
throw the guy in there just because. That's
yeah,
just like that sets a bit of like a bad standard
Yeah,
for
yeah.
but
everybody, pretty much.
but they should be starting Emmanuel quickly though. Like
Yeah, that's
Mhm.
my guy too. Shout out quickly.
yeah, like
UK.
they should be starting him. Like he's better than Alpha Pay and Ito, and I think you should start him
Yeah.
over. If you well, you're not even starting Rose at this point, but if they were, I would say start quickly over Rose as well.
Is Rose starting?
I don't think he is. I think
How
he's
about
coming off the.
so?
I think they're still starting Alfred Payton.
Oh god.
Jesus.
Jesus Christ.
Forgot
All
Rose
right.
was there, man.
Jesus Christ. And then that's is Zion.
Yeah, that was well deserved. He's been absurd. I just don't think people
Zion is
talk about it.
crazy.
Like to
I
be
thought.
that efficient, you can't shoot and you don't really shoot the basketball that well. Like that's
Mhm. And there's no real spacing on that team either.
mhm, yeah. Lonzo's actually been a good 3-point shooter this year, oddly.
Yeah, he was lighting up against us. He
Yeah,
was confident finally too.
yeah. It's funny because like I think like I'm afraid to like tweet anything about him playing well because every time I've tweeted something, he'll play well. I'll tweet about it and then like he'll go on a bad run. Like I talked about like before, I made a whole video talking about like before the bubble started. Like this is a guy that sells all-star potential. He's been amazing over these past few months, and then he gets to the bubble and like he was just horrible. And then I miss if I'm gonna jinx it, but like the Pelicans are besides like Zion and Ingram and the small amount of minutes they give Kyler Lewis, they're kind of hard to watch.
Yeah.
Like I kind of wish they would give Kyler Lewis more minutes just because I think that having a guy that fast with those assets they have could be fun. And
Definitely. They need to get up and down the floor because, like I said, half court, they don't have a lot of spacing or shooting around them.
Mhm.
So you got those athletic and young guys, you might as well pick the pace up and just run and gun all game, especially at this
Mhm.
rate.
yeah,
Did you think, did you going in, did you think Zion would get the nod over Ingram? And Ingram still having like roughly the same years last year.
I think so because I think Zion's been better. It's just because like he's on pace to be like I think they mentioned it like the first play like it's like him there's like Kevin McHale, like I think it was like Shaquille O'Neal or Charles Barkley, like the only players that was like 24 points a game on 60% field goal percentage.
Oof.
There's another player that I think that did it, but I'm not going to mention him because he's kind of a piece of shit human being. But
Oh yeah.
yeah,
I know you're talking about.
but I just think he's been insane, and it's just so funny because like everything was about him, that his rookie year, and then all of a sudden like he's not getting talked about like that, and he's even better now.
Right.
And like they have him bringing the ball up, they have him that was something I started to notice. Like they have him like bring the ball up and initiating the play. I'm like, okay, this is gonna be scary if you can do that. And then like he's not afraid to like to take open threes. It's just like like those just like things like once he puts all those things together, which I think he will eventually, because if
Oh,
he's
definitely.
confident enough to shoot them, like he's gonna get better at it. And once he does that, like how are you gonna stop him? Like if he's hitting
Facts.
threes, if he's able to initiate plays, which I think he already is, because like, I just think he's such a smart basketball player. But we'll see with time. But
Definitely.
it
But
should
like you
be
said,
interesting.
he's a really smart player, and he adapts like really well to it seems. He's not the most like skilled, like still like polished guy
Yeah.
yet clearly, but he still does like pretty much everything well to some extent.
Yeah, I would
To
say.
the point where in maybe like 2 years or so, when he finally does round out about at least 2 or 3 of those things he does well, he's going to be even greater than he is now. He's already like really good, and he's still what
Yeah.
you would consider like raw for
No.
a player.
It's kind of like Giannis, but not really, because I definitely think he's more disciplined than Giannis is.
Yeah, he
He's very
understands
right.
basketball better than Giannis did.
Yeah.
Like at this point in his career.
Yeah. Which makes sense because came from like Greece and like
Mm-hmm.
played in these low level leagues. With Zion's been playing like AAU on national TV since he was like 15, 16 years old.
Yeah.
Um, but it should be interesting. Um, I with the All-Star things though, it's always just like people talk about snubs, but they never talk about who they should replace.
Exactly.
Like you see the Ben Stinner list.
The what?
Ben Stinner made a list of guys he
Oh
thought
yeah.
it was like 30 players. I'm like, no, not everyone can make this
D'Angelo
team.
Russell.
He put Russell on there?
Yeah, he did.
Yes.
Oh yeah, of course he did.
Okay.
Big D-Lo stand.
All right.
And then D-Lo in 2020, but it's crazy. Shout out D-Lo. No respect to him.
He's cool.
Oh, snap. And last but certainly not least, our guy,
Yeah, Jalen.
Jaylen Brown. Well
He's just
deserved. Finally.
he's made jumps.
Yeah.
He's made jumps that I don't think any of us had kind of expected to. Like I always thought he was gonna be good, because I just thought like you get him in the right system, he has the work ethic, obviously. You can see the raw talent in him. I didn't think he would be able to do things he's done now. Like if you told me
No.
like when he got drafted, he would be able to be like a 25-5 guy on like new 63 shooting percentage on like a team that when healthy and has good like roster construction, like a contender. Because like I definitely think like if Marcus Smart's healthy, like
No.
and if this roster is a bit better around the Jason and Jalen with Marcus Smart there healthy, I think that they're probably one of the 3 best teams in the East right now.
Definitely. So we were
Yeah.
8-3 to start the year, and he was
Yeah.
averaging. Him and Tatum was averaging like 26, 27 each.
Yeah.
Till
Yeah.
Tatum got COVID.
And
Yeah.
But yeah, I got it came up though. I remember seeing like just 2 years ago, everybody kind of wanted him off the team after that
I didn't understand that, man.
disaster season.
Yeah, I didn't understand that, man. I mean, you could understand like the reason why his numbers fell back was because Hayward was there.
Yeah.
And
Yeah, and he
No,
came
it's
into the
Brad.
year hurt.
Yeah, and then also Brad has just this thing of like not being able to rotate well. So that was also part of it. But I mean, he was someone I never wanted to get rid of, man. Like everyone, especially when Kawhi Leonard. You remember when Leonard was available?
Yeah.
Oh my god, I had people hit me up saying, "Oh yeah, you need to trade Jalen and Marcus Smart for Kawhi Leonard." I said, "Why? Why? Like Leonard would be able to walk like within like a year or two at that point. Like it
And
made no
then
sense to trade him."
and then the Spurs would just develop Jalen into their Kawhi, and then
Yeah,
Yeah, he would have
yeah.
been.
We would have been pissed. Like that made no sense.
That's why I got a tweet from like last season when we played the Spurs. It's Jalen, Marcus, and Tatum dapping up Pop after the game. I was like, Pop and the players he actually wanted to trade Kawhi for.
yeah,
Could you
But
he
imagine?
was so intent on not. Pop was so stubborn with that. It was hilarious. Like
I love it.
Yeah.
it was like he was like, no, like I won't take on these promising young players like Lonzo Ball and Brandon Ingram because I just don't want to send Kawhi to LA. I'm gonna
See,
send him to I'm gonna trade for DeMar DeRozan, who has been good this year, but like
yeah,
you would rather have
DeRozan.
Ingram. You'd
Yeah,
rather,
DeRozan is actually a snub. Well,
yeah.
not a snub, but because no, it's just not enough spots. But you know what
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean. But yeah, but yeah, it's been a crazy ride. He's on like last year. As I said, after coming back from the horrific season,
Yeah.
he got his extension.
Mhm.
If people didn't think he deserved 100 M's at the time, then he comes back
Everybody was
and
laughing, man.
averages
Everybody.
averages a 20 piece last year, earned great efficiency as what anything from like the second to fourth option, just
Mhm.
depending on who was in the lineup last season,
Yep.
Oh, yeah.
Yep.
and
Now
maintain
he's the
those
Core's
numbers
second guy. Now he's the Core's second.
exactly easily. And so he maintained those numbers last year all the way from the regular season, in the bubble, in the playoffs.
Mhm.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Even like no matter how much his touches changed or anything like that, he's just the same player night in and night out, which is good to see.
You can also argue that he's been like the most outside of obviously outside of Smart because we need Marcus Smart to come back. Um, but he's arguably been one of the most efficient players that we've had on this team this season.
Definitely.
Yeah.
And so like I love what his attitude. I love what he brings to his team. He definitely to me he got snubbed last year, so I'm glad he
Yeah.
got this one this year because
Yeah.
I actually had I already had it made in my mind they're gonna snub him again. I just I feel like it's gonna happen again, man. Like
Yeah.
so I'm glad for him.
Definitely.
Yeah.
And no, you said on one of your YouTube videos he was the first player that you actually cover, right?
Yeah, it was like the first one I ever like wrote a report like evaluation on, and he was so raw coming out of like of college specifically. High school he looked a bit more polished, but then again he's going against high school kids.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And you know he looked incredible. Like he dropped like it was like 30 and 10 on like Ben Simmons in high school, and things like that. But like when he was the first one, and like he kind of was always my favorite because like everyone was talking about Ingram, everyone was talking about Simmons and Chris Dunn at the time because Chris Dunn was like viewed as that number 3 guy.
Bro, Chris is done.
Yeah, and it was like Chris Dunn was like viewed as like, oh, he's the safest guy because he was a senior. He was polished, he had the passing and the defense.
I would take on Chris Dunn. I would say fastest.
Yeah.
We're gonna.
No, but like everyone, but like I kind of always like, well, I wanted them to draft anyone but Dragon Bender at the time. I just didn't see it with him, but I there's something about Jalen because like it kind of just made the most sense because I thought like, well, the Celtics had this 3rd pick. There wasn't a big man that I really felt like we should have taken at the time at 3rd. That was like viewed as that guy, but when I was going through, okay, like point guard, like we have Isaiah Thomas, and we can like see what would happen with him with the injuries and stuff. And he looked like he was an all-star, so you weren't going to try to get a guy to replace him. You'll get the shooting guard. It's like, and then you'll get shooting guard small forward, which is what Jalen profiled as more small forward at the time. But okay, it's like Jay Crowder and Avery Bradley are probably the 2 most expendable guys in the starting lineup.
Yeah.
That had players that were in that range of the 3rd pick that you could have taken. So like Jalen just made the most sense. It was either Jalen or Jamal Murray. Like I wanted either.
Yeah.
So, uh, like they drafted Jalen, and like a lot of people didn't like it. I loved it. Like,
I loved it. That's who I
Yeah,
wanted to
yeah.
pick. But I thought he
it's
would
like
be
it was perfect. It was the perfect situation for him.
Mm-hmm.
Like it was either him, them. It was either wanting him to go to Boston or Toronto because they had like the ninth pick from like the Knicks or something like that from a Bogdani trade. But he needed to go to a place where like he could develop. Like if he went to like Philly, they would have thrown him into the fire, and that wouldn't have been
Yeah,
good.
Yeah.
But like, he just needed to develop slowly.
exactly. And he would have had, and with us, he had a spot that was there for him, but not like immediately there. Like you said, Crowder and Avery were the most expendable players already. Because especially with Avery, you're a defender, but you already had Smart, who at the time Smart just couldn't shoot, but Smart was already the better like defensive player.
Yeah,
Plus, Bradley
And
was
then
always hurt.
yeah, and then Crowder was good, but we all knew Crowder wasn't like the long
the
term
guy.
peak because Crowder was only about he was already peaking at the time, so
Mm-hmm.
he needed that like replacement to come in for him at some point anyway.
Yeah,
I wish we
So
had.
with Jalen, it wasn't a matter of if he would be the starter. It was just when he would be ready to be the starter.
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that's why it kind of made like when Tatum got drafted the next year, it was kind of confusing at the time because like,
Hmm.
and it's also why like when because everyone was talking about oh they should take Josh Jackson, like well he's basically the same player Jalen Brown is.
Yeah, older
Uh,
Jalen.
yeah, and it's just like so it didn't make sense to time to take a small forward because of the fact that you're like okay because no one really thought Jalen could play shooting good because no one really thought he
Yeah.
could shoot at the time.
Hmm.
And then like no one thought Tatum could really play power forward. They thought he was a small forward because he was only like 6'8", like 190, maybe 200 at the time. So it's
Hmm.
like people profiled him as a small forward, and then like they signed Gordon Hayward. So it just made everything seem confusing. But I guess it worked out in the end.
Yeah.
But what were you gonna say about Chris Dunn?
Oh, my take about Chris Dunn in college was that Chris Dunn was only the best point guard in that class because Tyler Ulis wasn't 6'1". If Tyler Ulis was 6 feet tall and not 5'9", he would have been a lottery pick. But
Tyler Hughes was he
that's my
like the
Chris Dunn take.
lightest player like in draft history or something like that?
He
Like the
had to
lightest player.
be.
He was like 145. I'm like,
Exactly. Like if you add some height and some muscle,
mm,
Mm-hmm.
he was a lottery pick. He was just like really that good. 'Cause remember that season? It was
yeah,
him and Dunn for the best point guards. But I said Dunn has the actually NBA profile and body and whatnot. So,
yeah.
but
They
but
messed up. I don't know what Thibs did to Chris Dunn, but he messed him up so badly. Like
yeah,
he was like he would like play him inconsistent minutes like all the time. Like he didn't like I think Chris Dunn said in an interview like he would go into every game not knowing if he was coming off the bench or not. Like he said the most demoralizing part was when he came back because he's from Connecticut and like it's basically New England. So he would go back to he had family when they were playing the Celtics when he was a rookie in Minnesota, and his family was there, and he didn't get off the bench. So
oh man, that's
that
rough.
he said, so I'm like that definitely took a toll on him mentally. Like, I definitely think like if he went through a situation where he got to play consistent minutes, I definitely think I'm not gonna say he'd be a star or anything, but I definitely think like what we saw from him in his first season in Chicago would have been like just a start or something because he was actually really pretty good in that first
Yeah,
season in Chicago,
but he good
which
defender
proved that
too.
he could play. Oh, he still is. Like that's why
Yeah.
the Hawks signed him, and if the Hawks want to make the playoffs, he has to be healthy because
Hmm.
he can just defend players that Trey Young can't,
Definitely.
which is a lot of players. But he,
Oh, it was Trey Young the snub.
yeah, but I'm annoyed by him. So like, okay. I'm really annoyed.
Oh man, but yeah, shout out to those guys. They all deserve it. All made the leaps. Hopefully, first of many for them.
Yeah.
And the winner of the All Star game,
I
Drew
s- I
Hanlon,
Yeah, for sure.
pure sweat. His best four guys all made it.
Yeah.
Big ups to the brain.
Oh man.
I hope they don't play the game. It's so stupid. They're
It
considering
is.
play. It's
And they don't have fans in the arenas who aren't in. Was how like the college kids, whatever.
they're talking about like
Bro.
they're talking about, oh, we're doing this charity work. I'm like, yeah, that doesn't change that you're putting people's lives at risk by doing this whole thing.
But here in Atlanta, it doesn't matter.
Mm.
It doesn't
Right.
matter. People don't care.
And they talking about not having any events during that weekend.
Yeah.
And after they
I'm
said that, I saw like 6 party flyers from, like rappers across my timeline.
Yeah. Oh, Atlanta's gonna have parties. If one thing we know how to do down here, party. It's gonna happen.
So like, I was looking at, but I don't think a lot of those guys are like party people though. Like, so unless like it's gonna become from like the guys in the dunk contest or the skills competition, they're gonna cause the problem. Because like I'm looking at the All-Star roster, I'm like, this doesn't really seem like anyone that's like gonna be that stupid.
Yeah, except for Harden, but Harden's not part of it. Harden is
I forgot about Harden.
If Harden was on the Rockets, he'd definitely go on party.
Oh yeah. Oh, he'd live in Magic City, bro. he would get here a day early.
Exactly.
I still think the funniest thing ever was when like Adam Silver was talking about the Harden thing. It's like, well, we're not gonna punish him because it's Christmas. I'm like, he said that's
Adam Silver's full of it.
It is year for Adam Silver, man.
No, we're not getting Adam Silver out of here, man.
This is the weirdest year. I've never understood because like every year since he's taken over, he's made a lot of sense with what he's done.
Nah, Adam Silver has went forward, Josh Goodell.
Oh my god, bro! Like,
I've been ruthless about it. Like, part of me wonders if my old Twitter account got suspended because I said something about him. I was like, no, I've been like with him. It's just like, I'm like, yeah, they like. Someone, like, I think I forget. Someone said it's like, yeah, like he did the bubble ball. Like someone said, a 5-year-old could come up with that option. Like, I'm like, oh my god. I still like, because I think it's like I think the idea is like the problem with that was people thought that a good commissioner could exist, which just
yeah. A commissioner is just the extension of like all the owners in the league, pretty much.
He's a puppet. Like,
so if you have like 25 owners that suck, you're not gonna have a commissioner that like doesn't suck to some extent. This is not possible.
Yeah, this is horrible though.
Right. Speaking of horrible.
Great segue.
Let's talk about the Celtics.
Awesome segue.
Oh man,
it's been bad.
Is it time to move on from Brad?
I think I want to see the team healthy, and then like if he can't do it next year, it's like I'm not gonna say he was a bad coach, but I think it might be time at that point. If like he can't do it next year if they're all healthy, I also think some of the draft picks and the things that he's done with the draft have been questionable. Like, passing on Brandon Clark, who could have contributed.
Yeah.
I know actually because Cole Anthony's hurt right now, so like
I would love Cole Anthony though.
Yeah, but like Cole Anthony probably could have been a guy you guys as a point guard in the future. He'd be the perfect understudy of like Kemba when Kemba was good, obviously. But I part of me wants to give Kemba still a chance to say, okay, get healthy, see what happens.
Yeah.
But part of me also gets so pissed off, like just watching him brick shots. Like in Dallas, so you know how the rims in Dallas like go louder than everything else.
Oh,
so every time I heard that, like, cause like I wish I had
piercing through the screen last night.
And it's like every time, cause like I was like half paying attention because I was editing the video as well. Every time I heard like, oh, it was probably Kemba. It was probably. It was probably.
Man, but yeah, it's like I want to be patient with Kemba, but at the same time, it's like it's hard to be patient. It's like the Gordon Hayward situation 2 years ago. You want to be patient, but it's hard to be patient when you're losing games.
Yeah.
It's hard to be patient. It got easier for me to just like not be as patient with Hayward when I found out he donated that stuff to the MAGA company. That was just like for me. I'm like, nope. Okay, it's like move on from it.
Yeah.
But
it's so funny because everyone talked about like when he signed with Charlotte, everyone's like, "Oh, the Celtics lost him." Like 95% of Celtics fans are happy that he was gone. At that point. Especially James, especially
James. Oh man, now Hayward was good. He just like it doesn't feel like he was part of the team because he was never available.
But I think what he did well, in terms of spacing and stuff like that.
Yeah. I'm not denying he was in a bad because he's still a good player. Like he's putting up good numbers and so I still don't acknowledge it as much, but like, you know, I think it didn't work with him because we had so many wings that needed to grow and develop.
Exactly.
That's why the signing never made sense. It's like, okay, you drafted Jalen, drafted Jason. Like, why do you need Hayward now?
And he got paid to be the top wing.
Yeah.
But then along with his injury, then he comes back, and Tatum is now the top wing when he gets back. And Jalen is trying to be the Nets wing, but then you're trying to assert Hayward to still be himself, and it's like some toes getting stepped on like all over the place.
Yeah.
The thing though is like
bench at that point.
I understood why people were frustrated because when you pay a guy top 20 money, you don't get probably even top 40 production in return. Like, yeah, that's frustrating. We just spent a lot of money on it. Like,
but I actually think Romeo Langford will be able to come back and
I'm excited.
Do a lot of
work. Yeah, I'm really excited for Romeo.
I there's been a lot of people that have been like, let's trade him and move on from him. I really think that when he comes back, he'll be able to do a lot of what Gordon Hayward did.
Yeah, at least just like he just needs to space the floor and cut and really just not be in the way.
It's funny
and defend well.
Yeah,
he was somebody that was super high. Like everyone was super high on him coming out of high school. Like he was just like the super productive scoring guard that could like hit any side, had a super deep bag. Like he was like people comparing like Harden. People thought he was like this next great scoring guard. He had a solid rookie, not a solid freshman season at Indiana, but he was playing with like I think it was I forget what finger it was, but it was something with his shooting hand.
Yeah,
he was playing
that's why
the
his
whole season.
3-point percent was like 20% for the year.
And I still thought the talent was there with him. And I still was someone I had him like top 5 on my board at the time. And he obviously fell. I think he's going to be fine. I don't think he's going to be what I thought it was coming out of high school, but like I think he's going to be.
I think he'll be a great option off the bench.
Yeah, at this point.
Definitely.
Yeah. Having him and Marcus Smart come back, it's going to be good. I don't think you fire Brad like Noah was saying. I think you wait, see what happens next season. But man, I'm gonna tell you what. I'm almost at the point. I haven't been hearing. I've been patient with it, but I'm starting to think about it. Like, do we actually need Kemba Walker?
No,
at this point.
Because if you
now with the way he is now, if he was still his all-star self, then But now if he's not gonna make shots consistently, or at least like be a passer because he's not doing that either, really, then it's like it's really hard to justify him over any like above average point guard.
Yeah.
I would consider looking at point guards for next year's for this upcoming draft, like just because of that. Depending on where the Celtics pick, if they keep this up, or they're like,
we'll be in
a slightly below 500, slightly above 500 team, you can start looking at I would start looking at because I think there's some point guards that could end up falling a bit in this year's draft, in the upcoming draft.
Well, I mean, and the thing about it is, there's a lot of stuff that needs to happen with this team right now. Teague needs to go.
Oh yeah,
Teague needs to go. I mean,
shout out to Marco.
Yeah,
DeMarco.
I think he's a guy that I see it, and I understand the height thing might be an issue, but if you were to bring Isaiah Thomas in and take him over Teague, or even Shane Larkin over Teague, we have production from the bench right now.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Teague is just...
You could bring anyone over there. You could bring Jack Michael over Teague.
Teague is just like a net negative. Dude, like the moment he touches the floor,
he's a walking negative.
He can't make a layup. When he dribbles, he like turns the ball over
And then what's
at
with
a
all the pump
He's al-
fakes on the
ridiculous rate.
perimeter? Every
he's
single
al-
time, it's just
he's always going to
all
triple threat. I'm like, dude,
on,
we
man.
know you're just gonna lose the basketball at that point.
Yeah. I
Sometimes he
don't.
can't even walk right. Like
And
he's
he's
like tripping over
penetrating into.
himself.
He
Like
penetrates into the paint and brings it out to the perimeter. Waits for everyone else to get there when you could have easily done a layup.
yeah.
Easily.
Exactly. And he's looking off Jalen and Tatum and whoever else when they're on the floor.
Bro, Teague's best game was opening night.
the first
Oh, yeah.
game.
And then after that, that was
Like-
it.
Like
I
the
don't know
Warriors
what
game, like
happened.
the Warriors game where he tripped over, like he like got the basketball and just tripped. I'm like, okay, I'm done. I'm done. I'm done with this guy.
Yeah. We're not gonna get Atlanta Teague back, so I
No.
No, that ship is so.
he needs to.
Atlanta should have kept him. Atlanta should have kept him.
A lot needs to happen. Danny is on the clock. I tried
he
to be like
is.
the big aim supporter,
Yeah.
but this season is a little inexcusable. And then yesterday, when after the game, when you have Tatum and Jalen frustrated and like we don't feel like all stars are trying to hard to enjoy because the team is bad, and it's like, oh no. when you
Yeah.
start to annoy the best players, then yes, you're working, buddy.
Yeah,
Something's gotta happen.
Because
And
when you start to frustrate the centerpieces,
yeah.
you either have to
it
get
messes
to
up the
work
rhythm.
or somebody has to go.
Yeah, which I think both has to happen. I
Yeah.
think
Yeah.
you have to get to work and someone's got to go.
Exactly. So either
Yeah.
you get to work and you reshape the roster, or
Yeah,
you or
yeah.
Brad have to.
One
One of y'all got to pick one. Which one of y'all's gonna be?
The thing that frustrated me the most with him was when he before the draft, like, oh, we're gonna draft experienced players that could play and contribute, and then he drafts Aaron Naismith, and then drafts Desmond Bain, who I thought they should have drafted at 14 to begin
Yeah.
with, and then trade him. And Desmond
Trade
Bain
him.
looked amazing, and then they trade.
And he's
I wanted
playing well now.
I know it's just I don't know. Like Naismith is because I think because
Oh.
he had a like he was on pace for a historic college like shooting season. But
Mhm.
that's the thing. He was on pace for it. Like he could have easily slowed down. Like Desmond Bain had a full season of
Yeah.
point production, and I think people like looked at that like, oh, but like
And
it
it's
could
like
have been.
I don't hate Nesmith or dislike him.
Okay. No, I
But
don't
it's just
hate
like
him.
it's just like he's not ready
Right.
now for what we actually needed, which the problem becomes.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm just tired.
I'm just
Like
Like,
I'm at the
the thing
point
is-
now where when I see that we're matched up with someone, I have no hope we're winning the game. Like
the
it's-
Memphis game
it's
is gonna be
tiring.
painful.
Oh,
Oh,
I'm
no.
expecting Atlanta's game tonight to be painful.
No, like it's gonna be painful because Memphis has the two guys I want the Celtics to draft. and they
Brandon
both
Clark
look
and
yeah.
Baines.
Bain,
Yeah,
Bain, Xavier Tillman as well. Like those guys have just looked
Oh man.
awesome.
yeah.
And that's
And
the-
they,
Go ahead.
it's just like they look because like they were 4-year players that were ready to contribute right away. Like you could
Yeah.
just tell. Where you knew like Naismith, I knew he like unless like he was on a lottery team, like he wouldn't get minutes on a playoff team right away. Like
Yeah. No, and like I said, what Brandon Clark is like, we drafted Grant instead, which Grant
Oh
really
my
showed.
God, man.
I thought Grant would like really make a leap this season,
I was
and just
hoping
be
he
like
would.
at least serviceable in like multiple facets. Like he'd be a good defender. His jump shot will finally come, but it's just like he fouls too much when he's on the floor.
I don't know.
His jumper is up and down. He goes days at a time. I mean, games at a time without playing because he can't make an impact on the floor. It's just like,
And then,
Yeah,
it's really a
At
disappointment.
least when I watched him play, it seems like he can only hit sidestep 3-pointers. Like
Yes.
that's just something odd tidbit I noticed with him.
Mhm.
I think people like, especially with Celtics fans, they'll buy into players like Grant more than they probably should, just because of like his personality and things like that.
Yeah.
yeah.
'Cause he seems like an extremely smart guy, extremely fun guy, but like, like yeah,
And
it
you
can
hope
be
that
tran-
translates over to the floor.
and it is sometimes it just doesn't.
It
But like,
hasn't.
Yeah.
Like there are a bunch of smart guys who just don't make impacts on the court. It's just
Yeah.
they don't
Exactly.
really go hand in hand sometimes. It's just,
Yeah, it happens.
I'm at the
But
point now where I want Kevin Garnett to be on the coaching staff.
oh, that'd be fun. That would be fun.
I love that.
I just
I
need
think
him to light the players up. That's
they
really it.
definitely need that ex player on the staff to really, just hold some guys accountable.
Yeah, which is what I was
That's
kind of hoping Evan Turner was going to be doing.
yeah.
But
Because I like Brad and his approach most of the time, but
yeah,
I don't think Brad really gets on the established guys the way he should.
yeah.
Yeah.
Like he'll
Well, he
pull
did it with
the
Hayward. He did it with Hayward at
he
all.
did it with Hayward. He didn't with Terry at all. Once he
Uh,
Oh man,
became like a
Terry.
finalized piece in the rotation
Mm.
or move. And it's like he'll have the energy with like rookies because we saw him always pull Jalen, always pull Terry when he was like his first 2 seasons.
Mhm.
We see him play hardball with Brandon, Nesmith, and Rob now. But it's like he won't go over like as smart as out there
Wow.
wilding and having this bad game. He won't pull Smart to the side and be like, stop that. Or if Tatum won't drive it, he won't pull Tatum to the side and be like, do this different. Like,
it's-
yeah.
I think
Robert needs to
part of me
start.
wonders if he feels bad because of how much he pandered to Gruden Hayward at the time. And it's just like,
Yeah, I can see that. Now he's trying to make it up to those guys.
Well, snap out of it, man.
Exactly. He gotta
Robert
be.
Robert needs to start. I mean,
I love Rob. Shout out Rob.
God,
love
man.
that. Yeah.
Let
He's
him
starting
start
to
to
like put it
test
all
him off.
together.
Yeah.
He is. And he's starting to make it. He's
And
starting to
meanwhile,
defensively. He's starting to slow down for him too.
Tristan Thompson is just in the Dallas game. Like when I was watching, he was just trying to do things that he's
Yeah, he
hurting.
does. He does too much too often.
Yeah.
Like
He doesn't pass back if he gets his offensive rebounds
I
either,
know,
which
I'm
is
like
really frustrating. It's like Jalen Tatum right there, bro. Just kick the ball back out to him. Reset the play, my man.
I almost lost my voice last night yelling at him, man.
You almost hit that half court shot, which I was like,
He did.
I'm like,
He hit that. We would have won overtime. He hit that shot early in the game.
Yeah.
that would have been the most crazy thing ever because like it was off of Tatum blocking Luka for the second time in like 10 seconds at that point.
Yeah.
And then like that would have been wild, but like, you know, it is what it is. Like I kind of like because Jacob was telling me, Jacob was texting me about this because like I turned the game off like at the 5 minute mark because like I was tired of watching the game at that point. I'm like I'm exhausted. I'm gonna go watch like Scooby Doo or something like that. And Jacob texted me. Jacob texted me. And it's like you might want to turn the game back on because it's starting to come back. And I'm like I texted him like I'm not putting the game back on. Every time this happens, I just turn the game back on. I get disappointed. Like and lo and behold, I didn't even watch it.
Yeah.
And I got disappointed.
Luka gamed us twice.
Bro, I knew that was going to be a game winning shot as soon as it left his hands. That's all
man,
he's one of those. It's like
he is one
the
of
moment
those.
you release it, it's like he's like that, Dame's like that, Curry's like that. Where like when the moment like they release it, like if they like just based off their body language after they release it, like, you kind of know it's just gonna go in.
Exactly. Like both them things. Like the first shot, Jalen had him like really tight and wasn't letting him get any separation. Then he caught that screen and got Tice on him. I said, there it is.
Yeah.
Step back, boom. The second one, he's dribbling up court. Jalen's right in front of him again. Caught a screen. Who is it? Nesmith in front of him.
Yeah.
Kimber tries to sprint over. I said, nope, there it is.
That's it.
Again.
Yeah.
He stepped back. He's trying to strut it back before it even went in. I said, oh, that's money.
Yeah. Yeah.
Luka's a great player, though. Shout out Luka.
For sure.
But yeah, it's a real uphill climb for the Celtics from this point on.
You think it's possible we turn it all around this year?
Possible. But
define turn it around.
I saw that. I saw that post.
Conference Finals.
Because he's second round.
It depends on what people think about us, though. Because like the moment they think we're going to the Eastern Conference Finals, we won't. But like if they think, oh, we're getting bounced in like the first or second round, we'll make it to the Eastern Conference Finals or Finals. Like, that's just how it works with them.
Look, I am still sticking with my prediction of it being a Boston LA Finals this year.
Adam Silver would make that.
I am still
No,
scared of that.
Adam Silver's back. He should have made that happen last season.
Bro, it would have been
But
a poetic thing.
this goes back to him being horrible at his job once again. Because David Stern got the Celtics in the final somehow.
David Stern, yeah.
he would have fouled Bam on like 3 of those games.
Oh man,
He would have called him to make sure that block on Tatum was a goaltend.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
David Stern, he'd have put the call in before Game 1. Adam Silver's just happy go lucky, just letting everything play out. Like, get out of here, dude. He's putting the fits. He can't even put the fits in for the MVP to get to the conference finals. Like, come on, bro. what are you doing?
I think like I have it's not like a serious theory, but I have an odd theory that like Rich Paul is like secretly like running the league from like the satellites. Like, he might be Batman. I've never seen a man with that much power as an agent. Like he is that much like the whole AD thing. I'm like, how the hell did he pull that one?
That was pretty. Look, objectively speaking, all bias aside, that was like pretty cool to see play. And then brought AD dad out the blue to slander the Celtics.
That was the wildest thing, man. I was like, when I thought everything was smooth sailing before that. When I saw that, I said, yeah, never mind.
Nah, just funny because Anthony AD is a junior that nobody knew. It was like one day, it's like, yeah, we have Anthony Davis Sr. I was like, excuse me? It's like, what do you mean senior? He's a senior. He's like, yeah, my son is like, wait a minute. I've never seen you at a game before.
Ever.
The funniest part about the whole thing was that his last home game where he wasn't playing and he would that's all folks suit.
Oh yeah.
Like, oh man, they blame this.
He's like, I didn't even pick the shirt off, so Rich Paul. He's a genius. He took the Sports Illustrated article out. Was like, yeah, you can trade for him, but let me tell you, he's leaving in a year. I said, oh, this guy has it going on. You can't help but respect the finesse.
No,
I feel like Harden tried to finesse his way out of Houston with the same pull, but it wasn't as smooth as he can't do it like Rich Paul though. Harden's out here at clubs or whatnot.
Yeah, he was and then he said he's like, what would he say? He was at like,
I'm at a friend's dinner. I'm like, Harden, you're in a strip club, bro. No, he's like, I'm not. He's like, no, I wasn't at a strip club. He's like, I was at a dinner. I'm like, Harden, I don't see a dinner table, bro. I see a couch. I don't see a dinner table.
I didn't even see things, bro.
Harden, stop lying to us, bro.
So like they were making like the all vibes list of all vibes teams. So Google got to make the list. All vibes. Someone said Google got to make the team.
Oh man, shout out Harden, man.
Some Google got to make the team.
Who will?
Risking everyone's life. Risking everyone's life is a taken away.
Lil Will went to the funeral on the way back. Stopped by the get the wings. Pieced it up with Jack Harlow real quick.
Hey man, look. I've never been to Magic City. I've always heard great things about those wings. So like I could. I don't know, man. He's from Atlanta, so I guess.
Yeah. Nah, the funny thing about Lou Will was like he tried to say, "Yo, that's not me," because he had the NBA regulated mask on. I said, "Oh, come on, bro."
There have been some reckless people with that pandemic stuff, though.
Oh man, these guys are crazy.
Yeah, like I thought I'm surprised Michael Porter Jr. made it through the health and safety list. I was like, how the hell did he make that? Might be the biggest accomplishment of his career. Like that might be bigger than winning Washington Gatorade Player of the Year at that point. Like
if they start handing out the vaccine to players, Michael Porter situation, then you're like real funny. him and Dwight gonna go anti-vax on us.
You're gonna retire.
They're trying to chip us, man. Oh man.
No, my favorite thing is like, because like I think it was Rose like tweeted about like, oh, there's gonna be incentives for like and things like that for players that do like the promotional stuff for the vaccine. So somebody was like, and this is Michael Porter Jr. here to tell you about the vaccine. I'm like,
I was like, no. So wait a minute now. Oh man.
He's hilarious. I'll give
And
him
also,
that.
and also, we gotta stop posturing, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, you know. Yeah, we're gonna hold the All Star game to raise vaccine awareness. Like, bro, this doesn't make sense. Just do a commercial. You don't need to play a
Play
whole
2K.
basketball game.
Just play 2K
Exactly.
play the video game like the Pro Bowl did. Like
Yeah, that made more sense.
Exactly. Oh man, and they're having a dunk contest and the All Star game's gonna be like 5 hours long.
Oh, I'm not watching all that, man.
You're having all that stuff at halftime.
Yeah.
they're gonna
Game don't
they're
don't
gonna
start
get
at
like
7. We don't be sitting there like
5.
we don't be sitting there at
Yeah.
1 a.m. still waiting for it to be over.
Listen to that. We're gonna be at 1 a.m. listening to the halftime show.
Oh man. God forbid the dunk contest goes in like the extra segments like with Levine and Gordon a few years ago.
Yeah. Oh man, yeah, that's gonna be horrible.
Oh, but
I don't
we
even know
shall
who they're
see.
gonna get. Like they're not gonna get John because John said he's not gonna do it. Like
Yeah.
Levine said he's not gonna do it.
And
I don't know. Zion would be too. Zion doesn't want to fatigue himself before the All Star game. So
exactly. Why is Donovan Mitchell doing a 3-point contest?
I wish the 3-point contest wasn't good shooters. I wish it was bad shooters. Like get irrationally confident bad shooters. Like get Dylan Brooks in there.
Dylan, Marcus Smart.
Smart.
He's a better shooter now.
Yeah. Shoot,
get Andre Drummond in there.
Oh man,
he's taking a bunch of threes in practice.
Ben Simmons in it.
That would be the funniest.
Now watch Ben start shooting the left-handed jumpers and starts like he wins the contest.
My favorite thing though is like I was like, okay, Ben started shooting threes, and I saw the first three he took. I'm like, okay, never mind. Don't do that again. Don't. Yeah. He didn't even hit the side of the backboard. I'm like, okay, we're not doing the same way.
We're not doing this, man. Poor Ben.
Yeah.
Oh man.
He's funny because like he'll like disappear for the whole game and like be like the best defensive player in the league in the clutch.
He's so irritated. Like that game we played them, Jay was having like the 40 piece. Then like it's a 1 possession game. Then like 3 possessions straight, Ben just like jumps the pass and it's like, bro, go away. So you've had like 6 points this whole game. Like, go away, man. Oh man! And then somebody said Ben saw his All-Star game in Jeopardy and started playing aggressive the last one.
My favorite jokes though were the Rudy Gobert ones for the All-Star team. Like, it's like, man, no one want to he deserves it because he's been a defensive. Like, no one's trying to watch him though. Like,
watch Rudy Gobert.
You gotta set those screen
assistant All-Star game.
Utah Jazz have the worst like social media group I've ever seen.
They do.
Like people talk about the Celtics being bad. Like, no, it's Utah. Like the worst. It's not even close. Like,
they're so bland, and their bloggers are like so boring at that too.
Like there's like one interesting fan in Utah. Like that's it.
Maybe.
And it's Mitt Romney. And it's Mitt.
Yeah.
It's Mitt Romney.
Mitt Romney. Oh, let's get off this though. But so you're a YouTuber, right?
Yeah.
So how long have you been on that?
Almost 2 years now. I've been doing it.
So what was your inspiration to start that?
I was through my senior year of high school. I was going to school. I'd applied for community. I was going to community college. I knew that I was going for communications. And I just needed something to do because like all my friends were leaving for college. Like all my friends were going. I was still staying home. I was just commuting to 4Cs. And like all my friends were like leaving the state. So that really left me bored. So like I just kind of like need something to fill that time, and YouTube really did that for me. I wanted to start doing like a podcast, like 30 minutes, so like every other day. And then I sort of like got into video editing. I started on my phone and just like editing stuff, like downloading videos from like legal sites and then putting them in. And then like I kind of slowly, then I started like meeting people. Like I met Rudy, who's really been the biggest part of it for me, who's like helped me so much with it. And I've met so many, like I met Rusty, I've met Mojo through it, like Robel, like I've known him from we've known each other since we both kind of started around the same time. And it's just meeting a bunch of people. And then I got the editing software, and it's just been improving ever since. Like I think I've improved editing from now to a month ago, from a month compared to a month ago, compared little on like what I was doing like a year ago. But it just like started like, okay, I need something to fill this time, and then I'm like, okay, I really like doing this, and then I said, okay, I could really do something with this, and then because like when I started meeting these people that I never thought I would meet as early as I did, like that's when I knew I'm like, okay, I could do something with this.
Yeah. That's so that like a career path you want to get into?
Somewhat. I am going for my communications degree just to have something, but this is like the thing right now.
Yeah. That's what's up though. So like
Yeah.
just your passion projects
Mm-hmm.
in a sense pretty much.
Yeah. And then I do some side stuff. Like I have a second channel where like I'm starting with a thing where like, I review every episode of Scooby Doo, and then like that's for fun because like I need to bridge the
Yeah.
whole like I can't just sit here and watch tape all day, and
Yeah.
write these and work on basketball all day. Like I need stuff to break it up, and I do that with like Scooby Doo, Yu-Gi-Oh, things like that.
Yeah.
Um, so that's what makes it. But like I think it's gonna sound corny, but I think like the people I've met along the way has been my favorite part about this. Like just meeting so many people. Like I was somebody throughout high school that kind of found the idea of like online friends kind of stupid. And then, like
Yeah.
once I started doing YouTube, it's just like okay, maybe it's not. Like I know people. I obviously from like Celtics fans, like most of them live in Massachusetts, obviously, but
Mhm.
like I know like people from like Alabama and North Carolina and like Atlanta and California, even like Canada. Like you just meet a bunch of people
Yeah.
that you never thought you would meet, and that's been the best part.
That's what's up. That's pretty much how this podcast started in a way, pretty much.
Mm-hmm.
Like you said, just being online and talking to people. That's how I met Derek, and like I said I was following him for a little while.
Mm-hmm.
I seen one. I think he was like, if anybody is interested in doing a podcast, like a hoop podcast, DM and let me know. And that's how I seen. I
Yeah.
was like, cool. I think I reached out. I was like, let me get some things straight. In a couple of months, I'm gonna get back to you on doing this. And then 4 5 months went by, and here we are.
Yeah.
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 But that's what's
Yeah.
up, though.
I didn't.
Yeah.
I'm be honest. I didn't believe you were gonna hit me up after that.
Oh, now I was gonna hit you. I was gonna hit you.
No, because I had someone else that said that like he was talking to me about joining one of our film shows, Realish. Talked a big game, bro.
Mm-hmm.
Dude was like, oh man, I'm gonna do this, that, and the other. I'm gonna write articles. He's like, I got it a lot. I ain't heard from that dude in almost 2 years, bro.
You see I kind of have always wanted to start a podcast, and like
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
and like I have one. It's just kind of do it periodically. Like I'll get someone on
yeah, yeah, yeah.
here and there, but like I always want like a consistent coach because it's hard to do it solo sometimes. So it's just like it's
Yeah.
just hard because like if you're by yourself, like you can only talk to yourself for so long. Like it's one of those things with like Colin Coward. Like, I don't respect a lot of things about him, but that's the one thing I do. It's like the fact that he could talk to himself for like 3 hours, like and still like be able to form coherent sentences. Because like it's hard for me to form a coherent sentence, like talking to myself after like 30 minutes, like let alone like
Yeah.
3 hours.
Yeah. Yeah.
But like every time I would put it out there because I follow Rusty and because Rusty and I are friends and like
Mm-hmm.
things like that. Like because like they know that we're friends. Like I have people from like NBA Twitter. I don't follow them back, obviously, but like people from like that NBA Twitter community, which is there's many things I could say about it. I'm not gonna say it, but like
Yeah. Yeah.
and then it's like I'll get a bunch of DMs from like things from those people. Like okay, we'll try this again sometime.
Yeah.
We'll
Yeah.
I'll,
Yeah.
I'll put it out on I don't know. I'll put it on some like recruiting site or something. Like
Mhm.
it's Twitter's not going to work to try to find that co-host.
Yeah.
But I kind of it's weird because like I do follow I follow a lot of people on Twitter, but like half of them I don't even talk to. Like
Yeah.
yeah,
Me too.
it's just
It
like
happens.
it's just like it's like I know the people like I follow I talk with. It's like Jack Michael, TKO,
Mhm.
Stud when he when they did an IP ban him.
He'll be
I didn't
back
know he got
eventually.
IP banned. I'm like,
Yeah, because he made a new account, but they like immediately suspended that account.
like, man, he's been gone for a week. Like, what the hell happened? Like,
Nah, he'll be back.
yeah,
I hope anyway.
Yeah, he'll be back. Him, Be Easy, people like that. Be Easy.
But the online community is like really cool though, for
Yeah,
the most part. So it's like
it's funny.
like you said, at some point it's like online friends. That's
Yeah,
stupid or whatever. Then it's like once you really get into it and meet some people and find like people that your common interests, it's a good way to
yeah.
kill time. It helps like enjoy to make the sports experience like
especially
funner
when,
too.
especially when you got quarantine, you can't leave the house. It's also like, who else you
Exactly.
gotta talk to? But you know, it's funny because like there's, I don't consider myself like a part of like a specific Twitter group necessarily. I kind of just talk shit online, but like, you know, it's like NBA Twitter necessarily is like one of the most bizarre things I've ever seen in my life. At some point, like
It's
I don't
one
know
of
what they are.
it's one of those things where you can't. No, Twitter in a nutshell is the thing that you can't describe to anybody who's not
You
on
just have
there.
to experience it.
So, but like I'll be sitting there like with my girlfriend, I'll be sitting there like chilling with her. I'll be just like in the corner like laughing myself. She'd be like, "What's so funny?" I'll be like, "I would tell you, but you." I'm like, "You just legit would not understand if I told you."
Like the grilled cheese thing. I was at my grandparents' house when the grilled cheese thing dropped.
Well, and be easy ass dude. What you put on your grilled cheese?
I was laughing so hard in my because I was singing the guest room. My parents like, "What's so funny?" I'm like, "Oh no, you wouldn't understand. You would not understand."
Exactly.
I laughed even harder at the other thing that when we were talking about senior year. I'm like, you knew what you were doing.
Yeah, it's just like stuff like that, and it's like even the sports debates on Twitter, they
Oh,
don't resonate to people who don't talk sports on Twitter.
They don't.
Like when you try to bring on like some of the advanced stats and metrics to just like I don't want to see casuals, but the people who just don't delve that deep into all that stuff, like offline, they're just like you can't have those things like conversations or whatever.
Yeah,
Like you'd be like, yeah, Rudy Gobert is a super high impact player via such and such. They'll be like, what are you talking about?
It's one of the things. It's one of those things like it's like. But like I like having nuanced basketball conversations, obviously online. But like, those are the people I know I can have those conversations with. You know, guys like PD, like people like that. You know, Jackson Frank, I can have that conversation with. Not Zay, I can have that. Robel can have a conversation with. But like, other times it's just like people with like, and I guess I could have a normal conversation with Jack Michael and TKO, but for the most part, I'm just trying to have fun. Like,
yeah, pretty much.
I'm just here to goof off. Like, I'm not trying to take it seriously. Like, it's like dude, people that legitimately think like the things I say, like those stats I make are like, oh, Anthony Edwards is the first. I'm like, number of games that at 19 years old to score like 15 points. Anthony Edwards 5, Michael Jordan 0. I'm like, so it makes you think.
Did he get the random people? Michael Jordan was in college at 19. And I was like, bro, please,
like, bro, please.
breathe a little bit, man.
Shout out Nate Duncan.
Nate Duncan was the worst.
That was hilarious.
What was Nate on about yesterday that he was angry about?
It was about, remember Anthony Edwards murdered that dude on national TV?
Yeah.
Like, so like he was like, oh, he had 7 points. I'm like, yeah, he's a 19-year-old rookie. Like that's gonna happen. But that doesn't change the fact that he destroyed that he ended that dude's like like Utah will never be able to leave his home again. Like I will never leave his home.
Exactly. Nate Duncan's been like a 2-week rager online for some strange reason.
Yeah, and then there's like Scott O'Brien, who that's a whole nother. He's so like, guys like I put like him and Machine Pun Kelly in their own like little psych word room.
Yeah, like so you have the people who take like the discussions entirely like too serious, to where if you're like not agreeing with their points and they start just antagonizing you for the sake of just like, bro, please just relax. Like you don't
No.
get this, then that means you don't watch enough basketball, and I watch more than you. So how you gonna tell me you gotta get your ass like chill?
Yeah.
It's like you're burning your keyboard off right now, bro. Just relax.
my,
Oh
my
man.
favorite thing was like with the funniest thing with Brian was like when he tweeted things like I do understand like you know like judging someone based off their color and treating them differently as authority is wrong. And they said, but and then like it cuts
Oof.
out. I'm like I'm like, oh no. I'm like, oh
That's
boy.
the Stephen A. Smith meme all over again. I'm very sensitive to the but. Oh boy. Oh my god.
Nah, but those people are hilarious because like even though they're saying like some like extremely like offensive things, it's just like knowing that they're so oblivious to it is kind of like you see what that Raptors guy tweeted last night about Dwight Howard.
Yeah, we called Dwight a
A
thug and
thug.
said something like that. It like, bro, that bothers me so much. You can't use the term thug in that
Thug.
context when talking about like sports.
Like,
Because that's like
you know what you're
what do you
trying to
mean?
say.
Wait,
Exactly.
hold on. What did he tweet?
He tweeted something. He was like, "It's time we get this thug Dwight Howard out the league," or something like
Yeah.
something in that ballpark.
Yeah.
Why?
And then like
I don't know. He
talking
must have
to
did something during the
and
game
then like
yesterday. I don't know.
and then like all of a sudden I look at his forward I look at the thing, it's like so and so, so and so and so and so like 30 others falling, and it turns to like 15 and then 10 and then like 2.
Exactly. And that's another thing with like sports dialogue, like is the people who are oblivious to how they phrase things, and they do
Oh
this
yeah.
with college basketball players a lot, where
Oh,
they're called kids, who might get upset on the court or something, or have like a couple of tattoos, be like that thug or that immature kid or that coward, and it's like,
Do
yo,
you do you think they're actually oblivious to that?
I think some of them are. Some of them
some
are
of them
old
are,
people.
some of them have to be doing it on purpose though.
Like Jim
I
It's like,
Boeheim
I
is
think
doing
they
that shit
are.
on purpose.
Yeah.
yeah, definitely.
Jim Boeheim,
Like you,
Jim Boeheim.
like you can't be that oblivious to how you phrase things and talk about like people in that manner.
Yeah, because when you're in media, like
They teach you that stuff.
you have to know what it is you're saying and what
Exactly.
different things mean. So like, especially if you're a journalist,
Oh, yeah.
I don't give them much leeway with that.
No, I don't give people like that.
Yeah, I
And
don't
that's a
give
problem. That's a big common problem with the older journalists
right,
too, as the young kids, like as they don't really understand how, like with Lamelo a couple before the season started, I think he bought like a grill or something like that.
Yeah.
And
Mhm.
guy was do was like, if my player I'm coaching comes to practice with that, I'd have my
Oh, shout out
GM
Ricky.
try
Shout
to
out Ricky.
try to trade him immediately. He's like,
Yeah,
huh?
someone he got called. Someone said because after he got the girl, someone said, "Oh, I hope it isn't turning to Johnny Manziel." I'm like, well, he doesn't have. At least I know of any abuse, any substance abuse problem. So that's a
Yeah,
good start.
Exactly. Or
yeah.
with Anthony Edwards when he was like, yeah, I like to rap and I like
Like,
other sports
no,
too, and they're
that
like,
was
and
everyone.
they're getting upset and they're like, well, this kid clearly doesn't like basketball enough, and it's like, bro,
It's funny because like all the people that are like so in. It's funny with that because like I was like I read that whole article. I'm like, okay, because the article really wasn't about that. It was just more. It was more about
yeah,
it was about like how he coped with losing his mother and grandmother within like a
Mhm.
5 month like 5 week
hmm
stretch like and then like they talked about because he was like 13. I'm like, okay, like also like you don't know how that affected him. He's still young. He's like 18, 19 years old, and then like everyone was on him about it, like, and I always was rooting for him because I knew because I learned about what happened to his mom and grandmother before the
hmm
same thing happened, so I was always rooting for him then. And yeah, I have always he always was a funny guy. But and then that article like everyone was talking about that, and then like, it's funny because those same people that are like praising him, calling him because he's one of the funniest guys, if not the
yeah,
funniest guy in the
he's
league.
hilarious.
He's hilarious.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but like those people that are saying that now, they're the same people that were talking about how he doesn't love basketball in that article. Like
Exactly.
Mhm.
it's just like because I think they saw like a group of people. Like I think I consider myself a part of the group that kind of was just like, nah, this just made me think he's really cool. Like he said, like who said like who's the first he be the first like high level like athlete I've ever heard say something like that little baby line. It's like, nah,
Yeah, so I
I'm
rap
a
like little baby.
baby. Things like that. Like he is. It was always fun to me, and like everyone was like all worried about it until like a lot of people started to like. There's like that group of people that like started talking like how it was cool and not like bad. Like
Yeah,
you know,
it's
it's just
that's just stuff like that. It's like that's why it's important to keep the pendulum moving on hiring new journalists as
yeah,
the generation changes.
yeah.
So you can't have the same fit like the inside the NBA crew, for example.
No,
Their thing, they're kind of like the older guys and are a little
Yeah.
played out, not
yeah.
played out, so to say, but a little
Oh. No, they're played out.
out of touch. Yeah, you can say
They're
played out. Yeah,
definitely
they're a
played.
little
They're
out of
definitely played
touch
out.
or whatever with how players are. They don't know some guys' names, and
And then
it's
you
just
look
like,
at Candace and
did you
Dwayne
have
Wade.
do you have Candace and D Wade on there who are just
Awesome.
who are awesome and they like clearly enjoy watching the
It's in the-
players like Candace yesterday. She's trying to break down hoop and Shaq was like
Yeah.
coughing over her or something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, like and they got a couple like Grant Hill has been awesome. Like I
Yeah,
was watching,
no,
Yeah.
I liked him. He was fun. Like him and
yeah,
Ian Eagle are fun together. And then
definitely.
um, I would like Doris Burke if she just didn't hate the Celtics, but it's just every time see, I'm like, it's and I was the same thing with Stan Van Gundy. Like I think it's like it was during the Raptors series. It's just like
Steph
I
Van Gundy's the trip.
he is, but it's like, listen, you're a nice guy, but you're starting to like make me go crazy at this
Is
point.
that the him and not him and Doris Burke during the Sixers series when the Sixers were like objectively playing like an awful game, and they're like the
And it
Sixers are they're just grinding out playing, and it's like, bro, I don't know what y'all watching.
you're watching. Like
But
it's
right,
I'm like, guys, it's just Embiid. Like that's it.
so they're just playing this
God,
so hard nosed and staying. I was like, bro,
my
we are
my
missing.
favorite
Tatum
thing,
has like 5 fouls.
my favorite thing I've seen was my friend Luke. He has a YouTube channel called Vom 2.0. And he like after one of the games, like Romeo Langford actually outplayed Tobias Harris. And he just went on this whole rant about it. I'm like, no. The bubble, I don't really care much about what happened like during the playoffs last year. Like I'm not one of those like little Mickey people. Or, like
Yeah,
I like that's just childish. Like you're playing basketball and during a pandemic, like you deserve to
exactly,
win. but like
exactly.
but like a lot of things, it's just like okay, like as far as like the East, at least with the East, it's just like okay, Ben Simmons was out for the Sixers. Giannis got hurt in that Bucks in the second round. And then of course we saw what happened with Boston. Um, and then it's just like I just didn't feel like Miami. I'm not gonna say it was a fluke because like like I think that even in a normal year they probably would have made it.
Yeah, they put the work
Mhm.
in, so.
They put the work in, but it's just like there's just a lot of things in the East that happen. It's just like I don't think
Mhm.
if Giannis doesn't get hurt, I think there's a chance they come back in that series. But
That's possible. Stranger
well, you
things
never
happen.
know. That's why you play the games at that point.
Yeah.
But it was so because like everything going on, with the protests and everything during the bubble, and then like the thing like I think people didn't talk about was like they thought about like legit like boycotting, and then
Yeah.
Obama stepped in. Damn
Union Buster.
it. And then 2020 was just wild.
That was yeah. It was a long year for
It
sure.
was a long year.
but no, I honestly enjoyed bubble hoops though. That was pretty
I
fun.
do.
That
Was.
was really
It,
good. They just
There was
needed
a
it
to
was
lot
keep
going
it
a
up.
on.
They
it
just
was a
needed to
lot of
keep it up.
AAU vibes. Like I definitely
Yeah,
got
that's
that.
what.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We
Yeah.
got a lot of AAU because like I wish they didn't pump in the noise. Like that was the thing. Like to me,
Hmm.
it's like because like it was like an AAU vibe. You could hear the benches like react. Like you don't hear that normally.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I wish they would have let the other players who weren't playing those
Yeah.
days
Oh
fill the
yeah. Like
arenas in
like
their
in an
staff and
AAU.
just yeah, like an AAU
Like
tournament. That'd have been cool.
because like I've been there. Like, I haven't played, but like, I've gone to like watch
Yeah, I
prospects
had
like
I had friends who
EYBLs.
used to play
Yeah.
AAU in high school and stuff.
It's like
And that
EYBL. I've gone like I've been to one EYBL. I was gonna go in 2020, but they canceled it obviously.
mm,
But like it's fun. it totally because like you're watching a bunch of games at once and stuff.
Yeah.
So like I always wonder how players react to that. Like they'll hear a whistle from another court, and then like, do you think like like I don't know how like I would stop dribbling and be like look around like, but no, I wish they didn't like because like it didn't again. It's just fun to hear how the benches react because they say some funny like because like I've been to games like actual games like in NBA like and you hear things because I've sat like right behind the bench. It's like you hear things like that you just don't like usually hear.
Yeah. Oh man, but let's get ready to wrap it up. So,
Yeah.
so Noah, at the end of every podcast, I do a top five segment where I take the guests and ask them three questions, get their top five specifically for them. So you ready?
Yeah.
All right. Always start with the generic basketball question.
Mm-hmm.
Your five favorite players.
Jalen Brown, Damian Lillard, LaMelo Ball. That's three, right? So four
Yeah.
would be that's tough. Jaren Jackson Jr. when healthy. I'm gonna include him because even he's one of my favorite players to watch. And five, oh god, probably Kevin Durant. I would go right now. Like I would put Kevin Durant higher, but I kind of want to give some different guys
Yeah.
like Jaren some love. So those are
Okay.
probably my five.
Yes, I seen. So I watched your prospect video, your
Yeah,
forgotten prospect video you did
yeah,
like last week. So you had KD as like the second guy you
yeah.
traveled on.
Oh yeah,
But
he's one of my favorite.
definitely. But the next one. You're in a lot of weird like cartoons,
Yeah,
like your Scooby Doo, whatever. What's
yeah.
your five favorite animes or cartoons?
Oh, Scooby Doo one. Can I do the Can I do the Yu-Gi-Oh series as like? Because like it's gonna be like
Yeah,
four straight Yu-Gi-Oh series.
yeah, you can have all
Uh,
those in one.
so I actually because I put GX above like everything else. It's one of my favorite in general because like it I just relate to it so much because of the high school stuff. Um, probably Teen Titans 3. So we
Yes.
Scooby Doo, Yu-Gi-Oh GX, Teen Titans. Um, 4 would be oh god, it's tough because like okay, probably Beyblade Burst. I think it's the best Beyblade series. Like I think it's better than like the other two ones. The new it's the new one that just came out. So that's 4, 5. Probably the like original Transformers, like the 1984 one.
Oh yeah,
Yeah, that's
no,
fine.
that's a lot of Transformers series.
Yeah,
So when you said original, I was like which one was it?
yeah.
Did you We're not gonna say. We're not gonna say. Do you ever see the one where they were like animals or whatever?
I probably did.
Where
I
it
definitely
was like
think.
called like Beast Wars or something like that, where they
Yeah,
came to Earth and for some
I've
reason
seen so
transformed to
many.
like gorillas and
Yeah,
random stuff like that.
yeah.
That's weird. But all right, the last one. Your five favorite videos you've done on YouTube.
Oh, so my favorite video I've ever done, I made on my phone. It was a video about the Washington Wizards Boston Celtics series, which is
Mm,
which was people forget probably the best series of that entire playoff
that
It
that
was.
year.
was.
It
That was
was like I
awesome.
wasn't because everything else was so predictable, but there was so much trash talking stuff like that that made it really fun. Second would probably be the most recent documentary I did players on the players that like to eat a lottery slot. I had a lot of fun with that. Um, Three would be I did a video with Mojo where we did a redraft for 2017, and it was just fun because like we did it at like 1 a.m. So we both were tired and had no idea what we were talking about. We had like Kyle Kuzma going ahead of OG and Anobi. We had Kyle Kuzma and Dylan Brooks going over ahead of OG and Anobi, and we're like, I was watching it back after editing. I'm like, do you know what we did? What we just did. Like we had, it was it's like it went 1, 2, 3, 1, 5. It was like, we went like Tatum, Mitchell, Bam. I would argue Bam over Mitchell now,
Yeah.
but like at the time it made sense. But after that, like we had no idea what we were doing. Like, I had Alonzo. I had Alonzo going like 4. No, I had Fox going 4, Alonzo going 5, things like that. But like that was fun. So 3. 4,
Mhm.
I forget which one. I forget. 4 is. Oh God, I'm trying to think of like. 'Cause I've made over 300 videos, so like that's a
Oof.
lot to think of.
Yeah.
Like,
So you be working.
yeah. Um, God, I think probably the first Tones Clark video I made. I had a lot of fun doing that because like it wasn't really a scouting breakdown. It was just kind of talking about like how he's like the first like Boston athlete since like no one's the world ever kind of make it. We'll see what happens. I would still take him in the first round, but like, we'll see what happens with him. But I don't want to far fun making that. And then 5, oh God, I'm trying to because I've done group videos, I've done stuff like that. I'm just trying to think of 5. Oh my God. I'm gonna pull up my channel to look at some stuff. I'm gonna pull up my channel because there's so much.
So I just followed you on your channel
Yeah.
recently.
Yeah. Trying to think. Oh, I did a series. It's like an hour-long video. It's broken down into like 10 that I made, but I then kind of put them all in one video file and uploaded it. It was a series where I compared NBA characters to Scooby-Doo characters. So I had a lot of fun making that. I think it was like Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, Giannis, Lonzo, Andrew Wiggins, and I forget the final player, but that was fun. Oh, and then if I did go like a 5.5, I made one of the first videos I ever made was comparing Zion Williamson to the Snuggos from Scooby Doo. So that would be the 5. It's tough though because like I'll probably after we're done, I'll probably think of something like because
Yeah.
like when you make that many videos, like you just like whoa, it's just
So when you do your documentaries, where do you get like your information from for the most part?
I deep dive to like whatever I can. Most of them so far have been my so the Zion one I had to like, deep dive in and find stuff like beyond Wikipedia and things like that, obviously. But the other 3 that I've done are very opinion based. So like I am my own source of information at that point. So
Yeah.
that's fun. Um, I don't know when I'm gonna do my next documentary. Because I kind of wanted to see like if things kind of clear up with like pandemic stuff, so I can travel down and work with some other guys on something. Uh, I've considered making one about like NBA Twitter and that whole stratosphere things, but most of my information like usually like when you read a college paper, like you just kind of
Hmm.
deep dive into it, like which is fun because like I think I there's just things that you learn about these players that and there's information you got to leave out as well because like you just
Yeah.
want to make the video like doesn't flow. But I think they've helped educate me on stuff.
Oh, that's what's up. That's what's up.
Mm-hmm.
We appreciate you for coming on with us, bro.
Yeah,
Sir.
thanks for having
Uh,
me.
anytime. Welcome
Yeah,
back.
yeah.
But all right,
Well, I'll see you.
appreciate you.
See you in the TL.
Yes, sir.